Hey guys, what's up? Andrew here, obviously, and I'm back for part 10 of my vinyl collection. A few things out of the way first. You can tell I am back in college. I don't know how we're doing college during this pandemic, but I'm back in college. Um, Second thing, this is part 10 of the vinyl collection, and this will be the final part. I've got a handful of records here. This is the last of the collection. As what I plan to do with the channel after this, keep doing collection updates, other things music related. I'm not just gonna stop here. So we got some modern death metal stuff, some 70s rock, standard stuff. So let's just get started. Also, before I get started, I hope I'm still getting the room kind of situated. So this isn't the most exciting background in the world. I couldn't do it over there because there's like window and there's too much light coming through or not enough light. So this is pretty much the best spot for me to do it. So hopefully I'll find somewhere better to do it. Anyways, first record. These guys are probably one of the most popular modern death metal bands out there. A lot of people who really like that old school sound really seem to dig these guys and really seem to say that they're like one of the best death metal bands out there right now. Obviously, I'm talking about Tumult with their album Planetary Clairvoyance from last year. Tumult, American death metal band. A lot of you know these guys, a lot of you are familiar. They sound a lot like the Finnish stuff, but not Demilich, except like maybe lyrical wise, but even that's kind of a stretch. When they sound like the Finnish stuff, it's more like your abhorrences and your demigods, depravity, stuff like that, where it's still got that Finnish sound of the odd time signatures and the really thick riffs, but it's not like super out there like Demilich. And it sounds like American stuff as well, your Autopsy, your Incantation, stuff like that. American death metal band put out, they're signed to 20 Buck Spin, which if you know anything about 20 Buck Spin, you'll know that the record variants that they do, the record pressings are pretty crazy. This one's no different. Look at this shit. It's clear with what looks to be like a yellowish, almost like apricot kind of merge with blue and white splatter. It looks insane. It sounds great. All the records sound great, but god damn, that pressing looks so cool. I got this the day pre-orders came out, as did a lot of people. They sold out immediately because Tumult's so popular right now. So, what do you got on here? Opening track, Big for Life. Title track. I'm going to mispronounce a lot of these song titles because I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Phosphorine Ultimate. Infinite Resurrection is another great one. Accelerative Phenomena, whatever. Crulian's Salvation, which I believe was that was on a demo or an EP. Maybe it was the name of a demo or EP before this. And then the final song, Heat Death, which is obviously about the heat death of the world. Show off the back. It's pretty good stuff if you're in the mood for, just solid death metal. Admittedly, I was more into these guys, months ago. But as with a lot of modern death metal and just kind of death metal in general, I've been kind of not listening to a lot of it because after doing that like top 120 album list, that completely just burnt me out on the entire genre for an extended period of time. But it's still good stuff. If you want to get into modern death metal, Tumult's a great band to start with. They're very popular right now, right up there with I would say Blood Incantation and Horrendous as definitely three of the best modern death metal bands to check out. If you want to check out other stuff that this band did, their previous album, Manner of Infinite Forms, pretty much just as good as this. So yeah, Tomb Mold, check that shit out. Next up, keeping on the same track of modern death metal from 20 Bucks Spin, we have this band, which you might have seen. I think I wore I have a long sleeve of these guys. I think I wore in one of the other videos. There's some pretty out there shit. Ulthar, with their album Cosmivore. I believe they released another album recently, but I have not listened to it yet. This is their debut from 2018. How do I describe this? This is blackened death metal with like a hint, just a hint of psychedelia, with heavy Lovecraftian themes, which I get it. A lot of death metal bands are doing Lovecraft stuff. This is like, there's literally a song on here, the last song, Dunwich Horror, not Dunwich Horror, Dunwich Whore. Yeah, this is some pretty out there shit, but it's really good. Also, this album cover is spectacular. I love the detail and the bright orange. You don't see enough like bright orange, you know, on death metal covers, at least in my opinion. 20 Bucks Spin, you know what that means. What in the hell is this? I showed this, some of these crazy record variants to one of my friends, and he said they look like the bottom of a slushie. You know, when there's like just a bunch of ice and leftover liquid in the bottom of a slushie. He said that that's what these look like, and now I can't get that image out of my head. Clear with blue pinstripe or pinwheel with orange and gray splatter. How do they even come up with this shit? Like, I don't even get that. Looks awesome though. Of course, sounds great. Yeah, so this is some pretty cool stuff. I really dig this. I have not listened to the new album, but from what I heard, it's pretty good. So yeah, Ulthar. I had the chance to see them here in Pittsburgh, but it was a 21 and over venue, and I wasn't 21 yet, so that sucked. Anyways, title track, Solitarian, Infinite Cold Distance, Atrophy. I think that's how you say it. Asymmetric Warfare, and obviously Dunwich Horror. I'm having difficulty reading the titles because in this really, you know, illegible cursive writing, but whatever. So yeah, awesome album. I really dig this. If you want to get, this is another great modern death metal band, but not a lot of modern death metal sounds like this. So that's why I would recommend the Tomb Mold stuff first, because at least there's a lot of bands that kind of are doing that Tomb Mold sound. This is some pretty out there stuff, but I really dig it. So yeah, Ulthar, if you want to get some modern death metal that's not, it's a little different, check this out because it's really good. All right, next up. This is a band I really dig. This isn't my favorite album by them, but I really like it. 70s hard rock band, very underrated. Uriah Heep with their album The Magician's Birthday. Uriah Heep, British hard rock, kind of, I don't even know, hard rock, folk rock, progressive rock, you know, that kind of sound, your kind of Deep Purple, kind of Led Zeppelin kind of sound. Gatefold. Uriah Heep has a lot of cool packaging from what I've seen on all of their records. Fortunately, this is the only one I have. Their 1972 album, Demons and Wizards. That's my favorite album of theirs. I love that album. One of my favorite albums of all time, actually. This came out the same year, and it's not quite as good, but it's pretty good. Show off the back, front, and then I'll open the gatefold so you can see what the back looks like. Pretty cool stuff. So yeah, I really dig this stuff. Pretty basic center label. I really dig this stuff. I'm sure a lot of you would if you checked it out. And we got the original record sleeve with a bunch of albums on it that they recommend. Some Uri Heap, actually Demons and Wizards is on here. Aphrodite's Child, that's some pretty underrated prog rock. More Uri Heap. Rod Stewart, Chuck Mangoni from King of the Hill fame. More Rod Stewart, Jerry Lee Lewis, oh boy. Keith Emerson, cool stuff. So I actually, as much as I really dig Led Zeppelin, or as much as I used to really listen to a lot of Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple for that fact as well, I'm actually more of a Uri Heap guy. I really love their blend of 70s rock with all these different kind of styles. Opens with Sunrise, Spider Woman, Blind Eye, Echoes in the Dark, Rain, Sweet Lorraine, Tales, and then the title track, the epic 10.5-minute long title track, the end of the album. Really great stuff. Probably like my third favorite Uri Heap album, honestly. Look at Yourself, number 2, and obviously Demons and Wizards, number 1. But this is still really good. If you want to get into like 70s rock that isn't like Zeppelin and, you know, whatever, it's I wouldn't say it's underground, but just slightly below mainstream knowledge. Uri Heap is so amazing. So underrated. I really wish I had Demons and Wizards, because that album is, I'm telling you guys, if you have not listened to Demons and Wizards, you are missing out. That album rules. This album's good as well. I feel like I'm talking about Demons and Wizards more than this one, but goddamn, Demons and Wizards is just fucking incredible. But it's cool to have classic era, peak era Heap album on vinyl. So yeah, there we go. So yeah, Uri Heap. If you want to get into them, listen to, surprise, listen to Demons and Wizards first, then check this out, because you'll probably dig it as well. Next up, I'm really excited about this one, because this is legitimately one of my favorite albums of all time, and I guarantee you, a majority of the people watching this video have not heard this album, and you need to. I'm gonna go out on a limb, okay? There's a lot of rock music out there. There's a lot of rock music I've heard. There's a lot of good rock music, there's a lot of bad rock music. This, in my opinion, is the single most underrated rock album of all time. Period, no question. Most underrated rock album. I've talked about it before on my channel, on my Instagram account. Some of you know how much I love this album, but I need to talk about it, because this is legitimately one of the greatest albums I've ever heard in my life, and no one talks about it. Winterhawk, with their pretty much only album, Revival. Winterhawk is an American hard rock band from, I believe, the Chicago area. They have a live album, and I believe they have a compilation of like unreleased songs and stuff and re-recordings. But in terms of studio albums, this is it. And let me tell you what, this is incredible. This is honestly one of the best rock albums I've ever heard. If you like early Rush, like, I hear a lot of like early, like first 2 albums, Rush, you need to hear this. If you like 70s hard rock by Triumph, Y&T, you need to hear this album. Comes on, I believe it was listed as Seafoam Green. There is a slight marbling to it. Also, it's not really picking up on the camera, but this is a lot more green in real life. This looks a lot more blue on the camera. It's also got a very faint marbling to it that looks very nice. So it looks a lot better in real life. So let me start talking about this album, because it's honestly, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Not from Winterhawk, don't do this to me. So get this. A Q&A with the guitarist, which is pretty cool. Got some more pictures in here. side. I believe there's a, yep. I was going to say, I believe there's a poster in here. I just got to find it. Nothing crazy, but it's cool to have, especially if you love this album. And I do. Why do I love this album? This has some of the best guitar playing I've ever heard on a rock album. The harmonies are just incredible. Absolutely incredible. It's shocking to me how this is so underrated, because this feels like this should be one of the greatest rock albums of all time. You have an instrumental intro track called Intro. Now the vinyl version is a little different from the version you'll find on like Spotify and stuff on streaming services. I started with the streaming services version, and then when I got this, I was confused because the track listing is a little altered. But it starts with Ace in the Hole, which is, maybe my least favorite song because it has the guitarist on vocals. Every other song, apart from the instrumental track, is sung by the bassist, who has that really high-pitched kind of Geddy Lee voice. The guitarist, Jordan Macaris, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He has a more mid-tone, mid-level, gruff, hard rock voice. It's cool, but I prefer the vocals on the other ones. Great song though. Period of Change is just absolutely phenomenal. Can't See the Forest for the Trees has this really bluesy riff to it with a super catchy chorus. Go to the second side, you got the title track, which is incredible. Sanctuary, which another incredible track, and then you got Free to Live, the epic 10-minute closer with some of the best guitar soloing you'll ever hear on an album, I swear. And all the songs have themes of, you'd think with the Icarus album cover it'd be more fantasy inspired, but no, this album is like, a lot of the themes, the lyrical themes, have to do with being a musician and not making enough money, and kind of deciding between, do you want to keep being a musician and not making any money, or just give it up and grow up and get a real job? And which it sounds kind of like Disney movie-ish, like, like kind of corny, but they really tackle it in a really smart way, in a really fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. The vocals, the guitars, the lyrics, everything about this album is absolutely incredible. And I implore you to check this out, because this is one of the best albums I've ever heard. And it's one of my favorite albums of all time. And I instantly recommend it to anyone who wants to hear 70s sounding rock music. Even though it came out in 1982, it sounds so 70s. If you think this is gonna, if you see the year of release and you think it's gonna be like a 1982 sounding album with like really bombastic drums and stuff, not at all. This is 70s through and through. So yeah, Winterhawk Revival, please check out this album because it's absolutely phenomenal and not enough people listen to it. All right, final two albums, and they're by the same band, so we'll just tackle them in one take. One of the most popular, influential, progressive rock bands ever. If you're following along alphabetically, you should probably know who it is. I'm obviously talking about, yes, this is their 1973 album, Tales from Topographic Oceans. Now, let me talk about this album real quick. Obviously, I'm going to talk about it. This is a kind of a controversial album, especially in the peak era of Yes, from the Yes album, Fragile, Close to the Edge, this one, and then the next one. This is a controversial one because it follows Close to the Edge, which is a lot of people's favorite Yes album, mine included. And it's very out there. Why do I mean out there? It's a double album. How many songs are on it? 4. You have 4 20-minute songs, and for the most part, they're very transcendental. Let me show off one of the records first before I open the gatefold. Really cool center label. It's picking up. Really cool center label. But I see a lot of people giving this album a lot of shit because it's so new agey. Which, I mean, you're listening to Yes. Like, come on now. Original record sleeve. Look at all these, like, instantly recognizable albums. There's even Close to the Edge right there. So, what's interesting about this album, a little fun fact, this is often like people will say, like, if you want to get into Yes, start with, oh, let me grab this other one. Another record sleeve. Oh, it's the same one, never mind. It's the same design. If you want to start with Yes, start with Fragile. That's the album to start with. And to a degree, I did start with that album because I heard, like, Roundabout, and I love Roundabout. That's how I first got into Yes with that song, and I've seen All Good People, which is off the Yes album. Let me just quick show off the gatefold. This has all the lyrics in it, and pretty cool drawings and pictures. Back, and then obviously, open this up. Super cool. The reason I bring up how I got into Yes is because this is actually the first Yes album I listened to from start to finish. Yeah. Why this album? It was in spring of 2016, May of 2016 to be exact, and I was reading the Ozzy Osbourne autobiography, and he told the story about how when they recorded Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, they recorded it in the same studio as this album. And the way he described it with 4 songs, double album, I was like, oh, I gotta check that out. And then I did, and I loved it. I loved it on first listen, and this was my favorite Yes album for a while. Even when I heard all the Yes albums, I still thought this one was the best. So yeah, I don't remember the 4 songs on here because the song titles are really long, but first song, Revealing Science of God, Dance of the Dawn, sure. The Remembering High the Memory. Third song is The Ancient Giants Under the Sun, and then the 4th song, Ritual, something in Latin. I actually took 2 classes of Latin, but Nos somos du solel. Solel, oh no. The sun just went behind a building, and now I'm going to have to finish this up because now it's dark. Fantastic. It's too late now to do a retake. So yeah, I love this album. If you want to get into Yes, I probably not start with this one because it's a little out there because it's 4 songs of... sun's coming back. Yay. Four songs of really kind of new agey, out there prog. But if you get into Close to the Edge and Fragile and that kind of stuff, check this out because this is really, really awesome. And I actually do still love it. And then obviously, as I was insinuating, the last album I have, Relayer. You know what pisses me off? This album cover is absolutely gorgeous, and I fucked it up because when I bought the record, they decided to put a sticker right on the cover. Just a great idea. And when I ripped off just a very small, just a tiny bit of the cover, but it irks me every time I see it. Anyways, Relayer. Gorgeous album cover. Obviously, it's another gatefold. I really, really love how this looks. And then I'll open it up. Nothing spectacular inside, but this is the first Yes album of the peak era without Rick Wakeman on keyboard. He left during the tour for this album, for Tales of Topographic Oceans. Ozzy told the story in his autobiography that during one of his long keyboard solos during one of their concerts, he ordered Indian food, like curry, and he got it delivered as he was doing a keyboard solo, which pissed off the other band members, and that, whatever. Anyways, this is one of Yes's, if not their most experimental and craziest batshit insane prog albums. When I first discovered Yes, I looked up a ranking of their worst to best albums, and I don't remember what website it was on, like classicrock.com or whatever, but they said that this is Yes's metal album. And of course that, you know, piqued my interest, but I was not prepared. This is some pretty insane shit. With a couple of the other Yes albums, I feel like you could just put them on the background and like just relax. This one is not background music at all. This is fucking insane. After the lukewarm reception that Tales of Topographic Oceans got, they went back to the format of Close to the Edge, which obviously got critical acclaim. Center label. Actually, I'm gonna take that out because that center label is actually super, super cool. They went back to the format of that album, which means that it opens with the longest song, The Gates Delirium, which is almost 22 minutes long, and then a Sound Chaser and To Be Over end the album. And it's all great, because Peak Arrow, yes, is great. So, I love this album. This is another one of my favorites. My favorite Yes albums, my favorite Yes album always used to change, but then I kind of decided it's definitely Close to the Edge. Well then, now it's like, what's number 2? There's lyric sheet. You can barely even see the shit. What's number 2? Because as much as I love Relayer, I love Fragile, and I love Tales of Topographic Oceans. This, I don't know, I think this might be number 2. This might be number 2. I love this album. I really, really do. I really hope, I mean, I'm sure I will, but I really want, you know, Fragile and Close to the Edge and the Yes album on vinyl, but it's cool that I have these two because I love these 2 albums as well. So yeah, if you have not checked out Relayer, please do, because it's an awesome, awesome album. And that'll do it for my vinyl collection. Wow, I didn't actually think I was gonna complete it. I didn't think I was even gonna get to the 3rd episode, let alone all 10. That's cool. Like I said, I'm gonna keep doing vinyl videos. I'm gonna keep getting records, keep updating the collection, you know. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed all these videos. Hope you enjoyed all these vinyl collection videos. Hope you stick around for everything else. And I'll see you in the next video.